Hello, folks. Today is Friday, January 2nd, 2026. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino. Not here to talk about the video game this week because it's a slow week. We are actually on holiday right now if you're watching, but we figured it was one last good time to take a look back at 2025 at some of the biggest game announcements. After this, we're moving forward. It's a new year. But for now, let's look back and see what 2025 really brought us, right? The gameranx team, we came up with a little list of things we're interested in, some cool things that were announced this year that we wanted to talk about. There are plenty of things that were actually announced prior to 2025 that you might not realize. I'm not going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 6 or things like that here. Stuff that was officially announced in 2025. So with that long spiel, let's just get into it. 2025 actually had quite a few games that were just announced in the year and released in the year, which is very refreshing instead of things being dragged out forever. Donkey Kong Bonanza was one of them. That had a very short window of announce to release, and it's a great game. We've talked about it in our Game of the Year video from last week, some of our best games. If you didn't see that, definitely check that out. But also smaller games like Shinobi Art of Vengeance were announced this year and then released this year and turned out incredible. Also, Ninja Gaiden 4, announced this year and released soon after. Honestly, every once in a while, I like a nice drawn-out hype cycle, but for things like this, it's nice to just hear about things and then you get to play them. Case in point also, Battlefield 6 was announced in 2025 and released in 2025, and it was great. We love it quite a bit. It's a great first-person shooter. It's a good return to form for Battlefield. And although EA technically announced it before 2025, it didn't get a reveal to the world as Battlefield 6 with a big trailer until 2025. Those were things that actually came out this year, but the bigger list is a lot of games that were announced and they're coming eventually. One that's not too far off that was announced at a State of Play this year, believe it or not, even though it feels like longer, is Saros. This is Housemarque's next game. The people behind Returnal are continuing that style of game, the bullet hell, the shoot 'em up, the incredible difficulty, but leaning even more into sci-fi storytelling. And it looks incredibly awesome. Some of the enemies, the bosses, the gameplay trailers we have seen look really great. They're sticking to what they do, but they're really ramping it up to the next level. Also, a new Total War game was announced in 2025 at the Game Awards, Total War Warhammer 40K. This is huge because not only was it a really exciting announcement, but the gameplay reveal was pretty awesome as well. It looks like what you imagine Warhammer 40K top-down battles to really be, but on a whole nother graphical level and detail. Not only that, when it pans out to space and it shows some space gameplay, that's really the icing on the cake. A really incredible announcement, a really kick-ass reveal that we're still thinking about. Another recent one you may remember if you watched the Game Awards, 2 Star Wars games. Star Wars Galactic Racer is coming in 2026 at some point, and it is not just pod racing, but also speeders, speeder bikes, and just a good old-fashioned Star Wars game. You love to see it. We used to get games like this all the time. We were eating good, so it's nice to see more Star Wars games releasing, but also in different genres like this. Also, with that, a huge surprise 2025 announcement was Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. Holy shit, dude. This is just really cool because we have talked for so long about why Knights of the Old Republic or KOTOR is so great. And the whole remake thing has been danced around, talked about in development hell forever. But now we're getting this whole new game led up by the person behind the original Knights of the Old Republic's games and someone who worked on Mass Effect. That is incredible in terms of a pedigree of person working on this and leading this ship. And I'm really excited to see what comes of this one. This personally for me is at the top of my most anticipated, but I'm also a Star Wars dork. Sorry, can't help myself. Now, a game that was announced in 2025 that I think kind of fell to the wayside, but it's still top of mind for Dark Souls people. It's the Duskbloods here. This was announced at the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal thing where we got to look at a bunch of new Nintendo Switch 2 games, and this exclusive one that FromSoft and Miyazaki are developing is called the Duskbloods. It's going to be kind of multiplayer focused, but also very Bloodborne-esque, and that's cool as hell. We haven't seen anything more about this game. We haven't heard anything more about this game at all since it was revealed. We got some good information, but that was really it. It's been radio silence since, so we're really excited to see if 2026 brings us a lot more info, and maybe actually a release. It's been interesting to see From Software dive so deep into multiplayer and in a non-cynical way, in a way that actually works. People have been loving Night Rain, and I'm hoping they can do it again with Duskbloods. Jumping back to Game Awards reveals not too long ago, Tomb Raider is back with a new looking Lara Croft that kind of unifies the old Lara Croft and the remake Lara Croft into something that feels a little bit more old school, but like it's a good mix, I think personally. But we're getting 2 games, believe it or not. It feels like Amazon is really doubling down on owning the Tomb Raider IP. First, in 2026, we're getting Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which kind of is introducing us to this new Lara, new voice actress, new everything here. But it's actually kind of a spiritual remake of the original classic Tomb Raider game from back in the day that your crusty old uncle here grew up playing. Then after that, in 2027, we're getting an all-new Lara Croft adventure that takes place after all this stuff. It's called Tomb Raider Catalyst. Only got a little bit of a look at this, but it looks big, and it's got this cool new Lara Croft again, maybe with like a cool grappling hook action. There's potential there. I'm curious to see if audiences in 2026 and 2027 and beyond really take to Lara Croft like we did in the 90s and then again in the 2010s. Also, Control Resonant was announced at the Game Awards. This is Control 2, but shout out to Remedy. They didn't just do the same thing again. Even though they had a great third-person shooter formula, they're going with a new character. It's not Jessie, it's Dylan, her brother, and it's going to be melee combat. Which, if that melee combat, if they actually pull that off, that's a hard thing to pull off, but if they can really nail the feel of that combat, this could be a great game. That's all I really got. Also announced in 2025, Forza Horizon 6. I feel like this one flew under the radar, but it was a very brief announcement, just announcing that we're getting a new Forza Horizon game, and it's going to be set in Japan, which I think has a ton of potential. Just think about the variety of Japan, the mountain regions, the cities, the different car culture. There's a lot of potential here, and they always really take the settings and run with them, so I'm really excited to see this one. This one might be really good. Also announced this year, I put it on the list because there's a big fat question mark around it. High Guard. This was the game that was announced at the Game Awards as the last big thing, and it's a bunch of former people that worked on like Titanfall and Apex Legends and stuff. New studio, new hero shooter live service multiplayer game. I don't know if this is going to be any good. It looks a little generic when you look at it, but the fact that you're riding on like sci-fi horses is potentially pretty cool. I don't know if it's really going to have any good sauce to it compared to like, you know, the previous games that a lot of these people worked on. The announcement was received very coldly. A lot of people cynical to it, myself included, but I don't know, maybe they'll turn it around. What is cool is that they announced it in 2025. And it's out pretty early in 2026 at least, so at least we could see what's up with it. 007 First Light, the new James Bond game, it's kind of cheating. It was technically announced a while ago when they first got the license and they started hiring people. But this year, we did get a full actual look at it, a real genuine reveal and new trailer. We get to see the Bond. We know it's coming in early 2026, and I'm really excited. I just wanted to include this one. It's kind of like got an asterisk to it, but I'm very excited to see what the deal is with this one. Also, the developers behind Black Myth Wukong announced their follow-up. They made a ton of money, presumably had some great success with the excellent Black Myth Wukong, and their next game is sticking with the Black Myth label and continuing to showcase, you know, Chinese folklore and myth and stuff like that. This is Black Myth Zhongguo. We don't know too much about this other than that, like, you're going to be playing as somebody who is a badass. That's my well-read interpretation of that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're cooking, because I thought that Black Myth Wukong was a really, really good first debut from this studio for like in terms of like them doing a big AAA game. So hopefully they step their game up even more, because I would love to see what they could do. Also announced this year, Half-Life 3. Can you believe it? Valve came out and finally officially spilled the beans and lifted the curtain on the long-awaited return to Gordon Freeman. If you've been listening this far, you know, if you're a good viewer, you know that I'm lying. Half-Life 3, as of right now, as of recording this video, December 22nd, 2025, it's not a thing yet, but we're all going to continue to wait. Also announced this year that really took people by storm is Valor Mortis. This is a first-person Napoleonic era kind of fantasy monstrous take on the Souls formula. Like, they're going for making a Souls-like game, but it's in first person. And from what we have seen, the gameplay we've seen, and people getting their hands on it, it sounds like it could potentially be pretty awesome. For me, I'm in it for the aesthetic, the look of the characters, the creature designs, you know, the Napoleonic wartime setting, the weapons, all that stuff looks awesome. And if they can nail that Souls-like feel but translate it well to first person, this could be a freaking huge thing. So I'm excited to see it when it releases. Also, Lords of the Fallen 2 was announced. This was announced at the Game Awards not too long ago, but they're continuing what they set up with the previous Lords of the Fallen game, which technically isn't the first Lords of the Fallen game, but whatever. In terms of like this lore, what they set up here, this new second game is bringing a lot more to the table. The previous game had some issues, so if they can really like fine tune things and keep up that great aesthetic and world building and like character design, we could have a massive hit. We could have like an Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2 style upgrade. And that is something I'd love to see because I've been rooting for this franchise. Another one that kind of was forgotten after it was announced because it was a very small announcement, Persona 4 Revival. This is a remake of the beloved, now classic, Persona 4. The reveal didn't show a lot. It was literally just kind of like a, hey, we're making it, here it is. It's probably still a long ways off, but we're excited to see what Atlus really does with this. Because I know Persona 5 really blew people away, people fell in love with Persona, but Persona 4 is really something incredible. So it'll be really cool to see how, I guess the next generation of players really take to it when they get this remake version. Next up, another announcement that kind of was forgotten this year, but I've been thinking about it because I just love this shit. It's Halloween the game. This is a game based on the classic John Carpenter franchise, and surprise, surprise, they're turning it into an asymmetrical multiplayer game like they've done with a lot of horror franchises. We've seen this for Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, Michael's getting the treatment, and I'm curious to see how it goes. It's from Ilphonic, and of course, most recently, they were behind the Killer Clowns game, Ghostbusters, Spirits Unleashed, and also Predator Hunting Grounds, which I thought was all right. I think it did a good job kind of handling the IP. So if at least they understand the franchise that they're working with, there's something there. We got a little glimpse at this game, not too much. I'm curious to see how this is actually going to be because I don't really want to engage in multiplayer. I just kind of want to run around as Michael and kill people. But I don't know if I'm the only person that wants that. I don't think I am, but I'm curious to see how this goes because I'm just happy to have a Halloween something. Also, the Blood of Dawnwalker was technically officially revealed this year with a gameplay trailer. This is some former Witcher 3 people founding a new studio and making a Witcher style game to a point, yes, but very much a vampire game where you play as a vampire and deal with decisions and questing and day and night. And there's a lot of potential here from the setting to the character. And the gameplay we've seen so far is pretty cool. Not all of it has really been great for me. Some of it I was a little critical of, but the developers here have been really responsive and really receptive to feedback. And I think there's potential that this could be a really cool game. And I just say that I'm a little biased because I like vampire stuff, but this is close to the top of our list. Also announced in 2025, not too long ago, was Divinity. This is the next game from Larian Studios, the people behind, of course, the Divinity Original Sin games, but also Baldur's Gate 3. So obviously, everybody's eyes are glued on this project. What the hell is it going to be? We don't have a lot of details about it yet. Other than that, it's definitely going to be an RPG type of thing set in the world of Divinity, but that's really it. All we got is a really gross, spooky, scary trailer that is cool. That's it. But the pedigree they have, knowing the types of really good games they craft, I'm excited to see what they cook with this one. God knows when we're going to hear more about it, but at least we know it's coming at some point. Also, last but certainly not least, Resident Evil Requiem, or Resident Evil 9, was revealed in 2025. What's even better is that it was announced in 2025, and it's not too far away. It's releasing in February, and we're really excited to see what goes down with it. It was initially revealed as a very slow, tense, first/third person horror game in the same vein as Resident Evil 7, featuring Grace Ashcroft, daughter of a prolific Resident Evil character from the past, but a new adventure. But then more recently, we got the reveal that Leon Kennedy is also featured in the game, and you get to play as him kicking ass. So this game could be a great mishmash of old and new Resident Evil. They're going back to Raccoon City after the events of the original games, and there's a lot of potential there. I am very excited to see what Capcom is cooking with this one. Personally, Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises, and although the new games do things very differently, they've all managed to consistently keep me on my toes, so I'm really excited to see what the hell they're doing with this one. Those are some of 2025's biggest video game announcements. Like I said, it was really hard to cram this down to a small list. There's so many other things we forgot to mention, like Mega Man. They're making a new Mega Man as well. So look, We couldn't fit everything, our team here. So let us know in the comments what you're looking forward to. Something that was announced in 2025 that you're looking forward to seeing in 2026 or 2027 or God knows when. Because that's what being a person who follows video game news and gets excited about video games is, right? Like you hear about shit, it takes forever to release. And then it's a 50-50 shot of whether or not it was worth waiting so long. But still, that's why we're here. We just want to talk about games with you guys and keep you guys informed. So happy 2026. Clicking a like button helps us out. Thank you. But that's all I really got for you today. Thank you very much. This will be the last pre-recorded Friday show. Next week, I'll see you back with a fresh new one. Hopefully there's some news to talk about. But that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm Jake Baldino. Be safe. Pizza's on me. See ya.